Beware my power. Green Lantern's light. Whoa, Flash, where you going, pal? I am on my way to watching Max 2015's new Boom Beach video. Max 2015? Bro, why are you talking with that fake French accent? As you know. Are you gonna come with me or no? I guess so. Okay, let's go. What the fuck? Hey guys, Max 2015, how are you guys doing today? It is raining again in New York, like typical. First, before we get started with the video, I wanted to thank you guys for all the good reception from yesterday's videos on how to use Heavy Zuka. To my surprise, I never really thought of making tutorial or how-to videos because there's so many of them out there already in YouTube. You could just watch any of those. But you know, a lot of people watched it. A lot of people wrote comments. So, you know, I really enjoyed making it too. It was actually really fun. So stay tuned for part 2. Yesterday was all focused on how to land your Heavy Zuka on the beach. So the next one will focus on how to smoke, and then I'll probably make a part 3 where we're gonna do a full HQ takedown from that. So stay tuned for those because those are actually going to be pretty fun, I think, and there might be some good information for you. Today I'm going to actually do another one. It's going to be literally a talk video. This might be the first video I've ever made where I don't play Boom Beach at all. It's just going to be all talk, so that's your fair warning. But a lot of you guys have also been asking me, I mean, some of the main questions that I always get is, well, number one is how much power powder do you have, which I will reveal eventually to all of you guys once I'm done with my push. And then the second question was how to choose troops, which troops do you use? So Tom Levens, Gabriel BB, and Otto Banerjee, I think all three of them were asking, how do you scout a base? How do you decide which troops to use when you scout the base? It's something that I never really thought about. You kind of just do it. But since people are asking, I guess people do wonder. So we're going to just try to see if I can explain that to you guys. So that's why I'm not going to play. I don't want to be wasting diamonds just to change troops because, you know, it's not free. I'm not super rich. So anyways. Oh, by the way, guys, love the comments every single time. As I always say, I read all of them, 100% of your comments. So please always drop a comment down below if you can. If you're just passing by through the channel and just watching for the first time, just drop any comment, whether it's a good one or a bad one, just let me know. I always enjoy reading the comments, and I really appreciate those from you guys. So we have a few bases here that we can scout. So when scouting bases, there's a few elements that you have to consider, at least in my level. I'm pretty high up in victory points, like 1,530 and almost 1,540. So, the main factor that comes into play for me, it's ice statues, which is huge. I mean, look at this base. We took him down a couple of days ago, so we're going to take him down again later tonight when I'm ready to play. But this base has 6 ice statues, and he has 3 defensive building damages, all 3 of them boosted. When you have 3 defensive building damages boosted, it is absolutely deadly. So on a corner base like this with a shock blaster, sometimes I like to go with RZCM with Cryoneers. I would probably take down the 2 rocket launchers and then start eating the base from the corner here. However, because of all this defensive building damage, there is no way my rifle would withstand the heat from 1 rocket launcher and the mortars. The mortars would definitely just one-shot all of my troops. The shock blaster would be deadly, and the shot launcher will probably kill all of my Zukas with just 1 shock. So RZM would probably not be the best way to go in this particular base, and that's why I never used it. I use Heavy Zuka, and I use Heavy Zuka to smoke to where the shot launcher was, and then just blast down the shield with all the Zukas. So it really depends. Also, once you made your mind of which troop to choose, you also have to kind of decide which what attack strategy you want to do. You want to go from the left side, you want to go attack straight from the HQ, or smoke towards the shield first. So there's a lot of options in Boom Beach. You can always decide what works best for you. I'm not that good with a lot of things, so there's always a few kind of methods that I use, but for me, ice statues right now, at least at this level, is the most important aspect of me. The location of the defenses will also impact what kind of troops I want to use. So if this shield was all the way up here where the statue storage is, then I might use Heavy Zuka, walk them up to the left, and then try to take down the shield, and then smoke towards the HQ where this boom cannon is. Yeah, if this base had instead of a shock blaster had a laser beam, then I don't think I would use heavy Zuka, because once I park my troops over here, that laser beam would just absolutely cut through all my Zukas, even if the heavies were protecting them. So they wouldn't be working. So I couldn't use heavy Zuka. I'll probably have to use maybe tanks if it's a laser beam, or Scorcher tanks sometimes. So it really depends. This is a particularly difficult base, so there's a lot of options there. This base here, Tinsa. See, this base has 6 ice statues, but only the masterpieces are boosted, so that helps a lot. If all of these little guardians were boosted, it would be a whole different story. Also, he does have a laser beam, and he has a single shield. So for this base, there's many options. You can probably use RZM or Scorcher tanks or TRM. Not heavy Zukas. I'm not sure heavy Zuka would work here. Every time I see a laser beam, I'm not sure if heavy Zuka is always the best way to go. But I would also look at the positioning of the rocket launchers. If the rocket launchers are always in front of the HQ, you can always eat the base up in the front with RZM, because you can take down the rocket launchers first. If the rocket launchers were in the back, like I'll show you, my friend Bulimia is here. By the way, Marco, you owe me because I'm not going to raid you. See, in his base, he has the rocket launchers behind the HQ. So if I decided to go with RZM head on the base, I can probably take down the shock blaster and then eventually take down the shot launchers. But once my Zukas, my troops park in front of the HQ, all 3 of these rocket launchers will be just laying on them freely, and they'll just decimate my troops. So for this particular base, going head on with RZM would not work. So I probably use heavy Zuka in this one. I'm not sure yet, because it's a bit of an awkward layout, so I'm not used to these. I could use probably heavy Zuka, smoke them all the way to the back, try to take down the shield generator, and then smoke back down. But the HQ is just so far down that it would cost me a ton of smokes just to get him back down. So I'm not too sure. Maybe smoke to the corner over here and then just start eating away at the base? Maybe. Who knows? Let's move on to the next base. Here's another base, a corner base with another laser beam. See, this is a good example. I couldn't use heavy Zuka, smoking them here, and then try to take down the HQ, because the second that laser beam fires, it'll just cream all of my Zuka, so that would not work. I'll probably have to think of maybe tanks, actually, Scorcher tanks, and try to take down this base. The good thing with Scorcher tanks is that these cannons are way down here, so I wouldn't have to deal with them. I'll probably just start walking from the upper left here, from this section. I do have to take care of all the boom cannons though, because of the positioning. So that's another thing. Depending on what troop you choose, you also need to pay attention to specific defenses. Like if you're using RZM, you don't have to worry about boom cannons. But if you're using tank, then boom cannons are your main priority. So you need to see what the position is. This base here, see, any base that has no ice boost, I would say just use any troops you want and just have fun with it, because you should be able to defeat him with any kind of troops. Regardless of if it has a shock blaster, laser beam, shield, double shield, if there's no boost, you can go with anything you want. Any kind of troop should be able to withstand it. And mind you, I always attack with only 4 offensive statues nowadays, so if you have more than that, you should be fine against any base that does not have a shield. Let's see here. A lot of corner bases right now. Interesting. So what troops would I use for this base? I think I could use either Heavy Zuka or RZM. I mean, he does have 5 ice statues. 6 ice? Is it 6 ice? Yeah, 6 ice statues. Yeah, Heavy Zuka would probably work because he has a shock blaster. So I can park them right where the machine gun is, aim for the mortar, and then just shock around all the good stuff over here. I could also probably, let me see, it depends on how much boost they have. Yeah, so 13,369 extra health. I can probably take down these 2 rocket launchers if I was using RZM, and then just start eating the base from this corner here. I would have to try to shock these defenses, but I think it can be done. I don't know, it's easy to say it, but thinking about what strategy you're going to use is very different from actually executing it. And I have tried to replicate attacks I've seen from Global number 1 and 2 in the past, and even though I've watched the replay 100 times and I try to replicate the attack as best as I can, I still can't pull off the same result. So it's a very different thing to actually think of the strategy, know what your strategy is, and then actually executing it, because it's much more difficult. We got a spawn here, but that's just an NPC base. Did we scout this base? Oh look, this base has a laser beam, and see, he has the shield generator all the way up here on the left. So yeah, see, for this one I might try heavy Zuka, just because I will walk the troops all the way from the left wall, get to the shield generator, take down the shield. I don't have to worry about the laser beam at that point because it's way out of range. Once I take down the shield generator along with some of these buildings to get extra gunboat energy, I will flare them to this nice spot right there in the middle of the sniper tower and the tree. He left me a good spot right there to just park my troops. And after that, I will just snipe the HQ while I shock the laser beam and the shot launcher. At least, you know, at first glance, that's what I would think. But he does have a lot of boosts, 16,400. He probably has like 7 ice statues. I don't know. If that doesn't work, then probably Scorcher tanks. You know, whatever. There's a lot of trial and error for me. A lot of times I think of a type of troop, I use it, then I fail, and then I might try it again. If I fail again, then maybe I'll switch to something else. So yeah, man, I don't know if this is gonna even make for a good video. It's just me blabbing. It's very difficult to talk about how do you scout bases. I mean, I do always scout them. You should scout your bases always, 100% of the time, especially at my VP level. I always scout them. I look at where all the defenses are, where the big boom cannons are, where the prototypes are, and the shot launchers, because shot launchers are deadly. I always look at the positioning of them, and then I will decide, depending on where they are, I can think of where to attack. There's a good base here, this one, because this one is asymmetrical. See, there's two rocket launchers on the right side here, but only one on the left, which kind of prompts me to think I should attack the base from the right side. If I can barrage and artillery this one rocket launcher, I can come to this side, and I can probably work these 3 defenses off with RZM. So, you know, that's the way I think it. Whether it would work or not, that's a whole different story. But you know, that's how I usually scout. I don't know if this is going to be any bit of a helpful video. Hopefully it is. If it's not, let me know how I can improve it. This is actually a bit weird because it's just talking and me looking at bases. But that's how I personally scout. That's what I look for, and that's how I think what kind of troops I should be choosing. So let me know if you guys found this video helpful. Okay, guys? Until then, I'm Max115. See you guys in the next push. Bye.